My name is Michael Sullivan. In 1954, I had been at Harvard for 4 years. I did a doctorate and stayed on a postdoc fellowship when I read an advertisement in the London Times for a lecturer in the history of art at the university in Singapore, University of Malaya. I was intrigued by this because I couldn't imagine why they wanted one. And all my friends advised me, don't go there, that'll be the end of your career. But we decided to go, and I had 5 wonderful years in Singapore. And I decided to teach a 2-year course in the history of art. The first year to be Asian art, beginning with India, then China, then Japan. Second year, Western art. And the students were wonderful because they knew nothing. They had no preconceptions, they had no prejudices. Their minds were wide open, and they were very receptive to everything. But we also needed art. We couldn't just talk about it, they needed to see it. So my wife and I had the idea of founding a small university art museum where we would collect Asian art from wherever we could, in order to build up the first collection of Asian art in Singapore. It seemed to me that the students should first know about their own culture. So we should have a first year on the culture of Asia and the major civilizations. India first, because India was first colonizing in Southeast Asia, and Indian art and Buddhist art and so on. And then China, and then Japan. And then when they understood something about their own Asian culture, then they could study Western culture, which we did in three more terms. It seemed to work out quite well. I just did my own thing. I was completely free to devise the course I wanted, without reference to what was taught. Of course, in the history department, they taught the history of Southeast Asia and so on, and the history of Asia as well as the West. So, I mean, there was, of course, some parallel things going on there, but we didn't interlace at all or integrate these courses. Never. What I had to do was to build up a collection from nothing. So we were quite free to buy or acquire whatever we wanted. So from that point of view, it was ideal. We had no pressure and no preconceptions. It was wide open, and so almost anything you did made a point and counted. So it was very good from that point of view. And we had support from wealthy Chinese like Lee Koe and 2 or 3 other wealthy Chinese donors who gave us money. And my wife and I ran it together. I was the curator, she was my assistant. Now, here at the Ashmolean Museum, for a long time, the curators in the museum were told by the museum, it's not your job to teach, your job is to look after the museum. So we had these experts who did no teaching at all. But now it's completely changed. They are all teaching. And that's the way it should be. I think because it's out at the university, if it had been downtown, in the middle of the town, it might have been more like the museum there now, where I mean, very accessible to everybody. But here you had to come up to Bukit Timah to see it. I don't think, looking back, it had a major impact on the community. I think it did on the university, and on the collectors and on the educated people. I don't think it had much effect on at the mass level at all. Because I don't think that generally the people of Singapore were interested in art. There was no tradition. But there was the first Singapore Arts Festival. 1959. We had the Singapore Arts Council, of which I was chairman, and we persuaded the Prime Minister, who was then Lim Yew Hock, that the job of the government was to give the Arts Council money, but not to tell the Arts Council what to do. So they gave us quite a lot of money, and we put on a week's festival all over the city. We had all the ethnic groups, the cultural groups, and 2 or 3 concerts and plays and drama, dance, and all sorts of things going on all over the city. Well, and they were free to do exactly what they liked. And I was able to tell a group of Nonyas or Tamils, do something this is your great opportunity. Do something you've always wanted to do but never had the money or the time to do. So it was wonderful. Later on, of course, Lee Kuan Yew took it over, and I think that the festival is more or less controlled by the Ministry of Culture, isn't it? It's what they want or approve. I wouldn't like to be a curator today because there's so much happening in the art world. The bounds of what is considered as art or exhibitable have extended so far that almost anything can be considered a work of art if it is exhibited. And I have gut feelings that that's wrong, that art should have certain essential qualities before you call it art. Call it what you like, but not art. Call it something else. But it doesn't. If it lacks those qualities, then I'm not interested in it. So I wouldn't want to be a curator of contemporary art today. No way. Well, I have a very old-fashioned. Of course, I'm out of step. I know that because I'm a very old man. But I have an old-fashioned conviction that for a work of art, or for something to be a work of art, it has to show not only, of course, technical mastery of the medium, but feeling and passion. And the feeling of passion can be expressed through the skill that the artist has in using the medium. And if that's not there, then I'm not interested. I think there's a great deal that is done today that is interesting ideas, but the feeling is not there. And without that, it leaves me quite cold.